Let me now welcome you to the Energy Consumers Australia Foresighting Forum for 2018. It's absolutely fantastic to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces for what I know is going to be 2 days of energetic, powerful and supercharged dialogue, made possible, as Lynn has already alluded, by the Program Development Committee and our 9 chairs and 41 speakers, all leaders in your own way in this sector. And all of those people have invested an enormous amount in Foresighting Forum 18 before we even get underway. So thank you for your time and your insights. The agenda reflects hours of conversation and cogitation leading up to today. I also want to acknowledge our networking sponsors, KPMG and Maddox. One of the best and most interesting sessions at Foresighting Forum 2017 was the informal, let me say emergent engagement at the Old Clare Hotel at the end of day 1. This year we thought we'd try to capture and formalise that spirit of engagement, and that was made possible by Maddox, Rob Gregory, thank you, and KPMG, Cassandra Hogan, thank you. In my time with you this morning, I want to really get to the heart of our theme for this Foresighting Forum. And in doing so, I want to set out the questions that we've been asking ourselves about the future of the sector and the challenges we need to overcome together. Questions I hope we can begin to answer in the plenaries and interactive panel sessions over the next 2 days. The theme for Foresighting Forum 18 is Take Charge, Shifting Power to Consumers in the Using, Making and Trading of Energy. Power Shift is an important project funded by the Commonwealth about making energy management work for consumers on low incomes and consumers with vulnerabilities. It has in fact ended up challenging our own thinking about energy services for all consumers and how consumers are the ones who will transform the energy system. How the power has indeed shifted. This work was the genesis for Foresighting Forum 18 theme. We have, of course, seen consumers take charge in other sectors, shifting power forever by insisting on new services, modes of delivery and business models. Think music, think media, think taxis, think hotels. Consumers insisting on being partners, creating value for themselves and others. Whole sectors disrupted by devices, data and dissatisfaction. Consumers identifying flaws in the orthodoxy and misbehaving until the sector catches up. Our deliberate future-oriented framing, Take Charge, Shifting Power to Consumers, is consistent with the philosophy of the Foresighting Forum, a forward focus on issues we can only solve by working together. It might seem out of sync with the affordability crisis many households and small businesses are reporting now. Surely the now is where our focus should be. The fiction is we can't afford to look too far ahead. The fact, of course, is that we can't afford not to. Indeed, we must have a very clear view of where we are going if we are to overcome the immediate challenges. Our compass through the thicket of self-interested positions, as we all work to restore community confidence, will be a shared focus on reshaping the energy sector into one that consumers want and value. To understand and respond to what consumers want, we have to deal with 2 sets of issues. The now, where the issue is affordable energy, the next, where the issue is optimised, individualised energy. Where are we now? We all know that we're wrestling with unaffordable energy and very dissatisfied consumers. Simply stated, energy has become unaffordable. Price rises and flat wages growth have generated what Rod Sims calls an affordability crisis. After 10 years of price increases, many households and small businesses have exhausted the changes they can make to reduce or shift their use to keep their bills under control. The next step is a major upfront investment in kit, solar and batteries. And that's an option that's not even available to many Australians who rent their home or their office for their small business. It's an economy-wide problem. The most recent Energy Consumer Sentiment Survey is showing that households and small businesses generally have lost confidence in the sector. They don't think they're getting value for money, and they don't believe the sector's working in their interests. The survey indicates that consumer satisfaction with current reliability is good. There are concerns about future reliability, but consumers are not telling us they want even higher levels of reliability, and further price rises to fund even higher levels would not sit well with the community. It would further undermine the trust and confidence we need to transform to a cleaner, more sophisticated, more resilient energy system. The community is telling us that decisions about reliability and emissions must be made within an affordability constraint. They are telling us that affordability can't be merely aspirational, it must be an actual outcome of the system. It must be an explicit criterion in our decision-making up and down the supply chain. And consumers must see evidence of this on the bills. Our highest priority right now, and a focus for our conversations today and tomorrow, is acting on this clear signal from the community. ECA's view is that we together, all of us, energy companies, market designers, regulators, market operators, policymakers and advocates need to do two things. Firstly, work within an affordability constraint right across the sector. And secondly, directly and quickly empower consumers with the services, tool and information to help them get control of their energy use and costs. We're talking about managing, not rationing use. We need to reduce the pressure on consumers now to create confidence for a transformation that will require new investment, experimentation and risk-taking. We see these two priorities, sector-wide focus on affordability and help to manage energy use, combined with the ACCC's review findings and recommendations coming in June, providing a bridge to the future energy market envisaged by Dr. Finkel in his blueprint. Let me now talk about the next phase, which is all about optimised and individualised energy. We need to rethink the frameworks we're using to guide the longer-term transformation of the sector. First and foremost is the trilemma, a dominant concept in energy circles, which sees transformation as a closed system problem, requiring three objectives in tension, to be solved: emissions reduction, reliability, and affordability. Our sense is that trilemma thinking tends to narrow or confine thinking to the short term and current technology, causing decision makers to default to big supply-side solutions, rather than exploring fully the possibilities of new technology and a system where reliability, affordability and emissions reduction might align. For example, because efficiently deployed, decentralised, renewable energy resources, reduce the cost of energy, and increase the resilience of the system. The trilemma is a defensive framing that is making us think that the very best we can do is to just manage to keep the power on with a lower rate of growth of price increases. We need a new positive framing where the many partners in a decentralised system are working together to deliver an optimised system, a system that includes the household and small business, that does not end at the PowerPoint, where the objective is not to build and build and build with consumers just paying and paying and paying, but to optimise the system, creating value for all the partners. A positive framing where the consumer is taking charge, their data is their asset, and energy companies are responding to incentives embedded in the design of the market to tailor services that meet very different needs, preferences and circumstances, where energy services, including the bill, are increasingly individualised in a way that we enjoy in other sectors. A system that delivers affordable, optimised and individualised outcomes is not utopian or even unduly optimistic. We see examples of it right now in City Smart's Reduce Your Juice, in the ARENA AEMO demand response trials, in the new services and platforms that are emerging that we will hear more about in the next 2 days. So how do we move this forward? How do we shift the power so consumers can take charge? We need to work together to think about these challenges from the perspective of households and small businesses, dwelling on what we really mean when we talk about affordable, what we really mean when we talk about rewarding consumers. How can we really enable choice and engagement using information and tools? Not more information, but information that makes sense and is readily available to me when I want to make a decision. The discipline of about the consumer, for the consumer, and from the perspective of the consumer is informed by our own experience through the Power Shift project, which, as I said, is about making energy management work for consumers on low incomes and consumers with vulnerabilities, but which has ended up challenging our own thinking about energy services for all consumers and how it's consumers that will transform the system. Power Shift is revealing that households and small businesses do want to engage and partner. They are taking charge, and we need to meet them where they are, make it easy, make it relevant, and tailor it. The affordable, optimised, individualised future is one we can only build together through dialogue and collaboration. At times of complexity and change, the easiest thing to do is to retreat to the certain, the clear proposition that I know is in my interests. But the community is expecting more from us. They are still expecting excellent engineering. They want effective economics and attention to affordable outcomes. But in addition, they want much more innovation focused on shifting the power to them from a sector that is essential to comfortable homes and essential to competitive businesses. I want to thank you for your willingness to come together, to be prepared to open up, debate, talk and explore with us. My hope is that by the end of tomorrow, we will not only have a new set of insights about delivering outcomes for consumers that can inform work across the sector, but that we will have made new connections that can form the basis of the partnerships that will remake the energy sector in Australia, shifting the power to consumers and helping them to take charge. Thank you.